All right, welcome back to the Legacy Premier League. I'm joined by Wilson Hunter.
What's up, people? Happy to be here with my buddy Jody. Good to see you guys. Man, brutal beats for me though. Like, got wrecked by the days. That was just that was an example of a match where a rogue deck definitely took advantage of me just not really understanding what was going on. Like, I knew his combo, but the threat of Batterskull in that matchup, plus him having a daze, were a couple things that I just wasn't aware of that could have happened. So.
Oh yeah, that's a big advantage playing rogue decks. And one cool thing about the format change is it opens up a lot of decks that weren't really possible before. Like this deck seems like it would have real trouble against, namely, Gitaxian Probe for the same reason. So we get into the game here. It looks like we have Manaless Bomberman versus Manaless Cephalid Breakfast.
Looks like we're going to have a 6-on-6 action going on here in a second, I'd assume. What do you think about this matchup, Jody?
Well, I've thought long and hard about this match in my testing.
Right.
My conclusion has been that, I don't know, I would think that the Bomberman is actually, Caleb has access to Welcome Ballista, which is a key point of interaction with the Cephalid Illusionist. But it's really going to be a race to combos, I would imagine. Not much interaction outside of that. They have Force of Will, which is big in this match. So I'd say it'd probably be a slight advantage to Javier.
Yeah.
East game one.
Absolutely. That's where I'm at. Like, there's a little bit more blue interaction. We also have a little bit faster combo. But, Chalice and the Void does some stuff. Now we see a turn 1 Vial on the play is very nice. So there is not a Chalice hand here, but if there was, being on the play would have been really good. So we have this typical Bomberman hand that is not the best hand, which is just like throw out all your cantrips and basically ancestral for your turn 2.
Yeah, the average Bomberman hand of we don't know what the hand's going to be till turn 2.
Exactly. Now we do have half the combo here on Javier's side with one of the cards that is still one of the better cards in the format, Brainstorm.
Couple cantrips to turn on the next side. So one thing to note is that the Dread Return actually has to make it back into Javier's deck or into the graveyard. The Brainstorm will be useful. Javier will probably look to pair that up with a Ponder or a Fetch Land.
Yeah, so he is able to put Brainstorm back, the Dread Return, and now he has 2 pieces of the combo, which could be a turn 2 win here. So we'll be able to Ponder, see if there's some sort of protection. I guess at this point he's looking for something like a Daze. Because he doesn't want to pitch this Illusionist to a Force of Will.
Right, to protect against the Salvager's combo. And if not, then it will be a turn 3 finish with the instep in-core off the Vial and then the Illusionist on the next turn.
Absolutely. This is pretty fun. This is certainly a flashback format so far.
Man. Yeah, I mean, seeing this breakfast deck takes me back to Extended circa 2005.
Absolutely.
And I found out earlier from Jarvis that Javier actually was the one who designed this deck for Pro Tour Columbus in 2004. So this is an old favorite of his, I imagine.
Okay, very cool. Okay, so we have some action in the form of Mentor and Make a Monk here. Unfortunately for Caleb, that's not extremely fast versus the turn 3 kill. So hopefully we'll be able to see the combo here. I sort of quit the game before we were able to see exactly what happened, but I was told that chat wanted to see it, so apologize to chat for that. But yeah, I mean, it looks like this game is sort of wrapped up.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's not that both decks were on 6 cards, both Caleb and Javier, and Caleb was actually threatening infinite Mentor Monks. It actually a turn 3 kill of his own.
Yep.
Infinite prowess.
Yeah, he'd be infinite power with 2 dudes attacking. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. So, die roll definitely did something here.
Yeah, 2 ships passing the night other than the blue interaction. A walking ballista here would have been Wouldn't even able would have been okay because it would have been able to kill the core. So like we said, there's not much interaction between these decks, but the pieces that are very strong.
Right, absolutely.
So
Well, this is impressive. So I mean, he's going out here. You see the graveyard.
got the full deck in the graveyard.
We're about to
Is it
see.
the full deck? Yeah. All right, so we got a Rihanna, Dread Return. Second, the Narcomoebas get back to Mimeoplasm, which has all the abilities. The +1/+1 counters on the red cap trigger. Boom, that's it.
Wow.
And they were saying earlier, Wilson, I didn't know if you knew. Let's talk about the sideboard first.
Yeah, so it looks like something interesting for Caleb is he does have a few plows, I believe, which is a nice. Yeah, okay, so he has 2 plows. That's some nice interaction.
Looking like. What about those Tormod's Crypts? You think those will be effective against the graveyard? Now against you, Javier actually boarded into a mid-range grind game with the Lingering Souls you see over there, the Detention Sphere,
right?
But I think in this matchup, do you think that would be an approach that you would try and take?
No, I think because of some of the degenerate combos going on in Caleb's deck, I think that he definitely needs to stick with some of his combo stuff, I would think. Looks like he's mostly doing that. Boarded out one force, or maybe that force was in the sideboard.
Yeah, I think the force was in the sideboard.
Okay, so 4th force in the sideboard. Yeah, that'll be interesting. So we have some plow action. I think Caleb is just sort of hanging out here for a second. Maybe he's not boarding in the plows, though. Looks like he boarded in the crypts. Containment Priest obviously makes a lot of sense. So Containment Priest does double duty in this matchup because not only does it stop all of the graveyard stuff, it actually also shuts off the Ether Vial.
Ether Vial, yeah. Yeah, that's big. That's a big sideboard card. There's a lot more application to it in Legacy than just against your Reanimators and your sneak attacks. I found that playing land still recently, how important it is against shutting down Ether Vials.
Yeah, it looks like potentially he just isn't boarding in plows because he's trying to chalice on 1. I guess that's what the situation is. Notably, Javier can get around that with the Stoneforge Shuko plan, but I think chalice on 1 is generally very good against this deck. So particularly on the play, Ether Vial is a big part of the combo. There's a 1-mana creature as part of the combo, so that'll be significant. Okay, so looks like this is a Mentor aggro type draw that we have going on with the Walking Ballista, which is relevant interaction. On the other side, a couple cantrips, a swords, a nomad, 3 lands. So yeah, we just see the Mentor coming out here, and looks like we may just jam a couple monks.
Yeah, with the most meaningful interaction, Walking Ballista, to follow it up on the next turn.
Absolutely. So the plow is going to be good to stop some of this bleeding. But it's definitely a great start. Not sure if it's as good as a turn 1 chalice, but it's still good to put the pressure on your opponent here. So this is very, very interesting decks because we've seen a couple of different types of draws from both of these players now. We see the Mentor half of this Bomberman deck, and then we see a more controlling cantrippy blue half of the Breakfast deck.
Yeah, it definitely shows the different levels that they can play.
Salvagers is going to be interesting because he's going to be able to get some value engines going, but it looks like he may just want to play a Ballista.
Oh, you mean pump the Ballista? Or
just get it out right now.
Yeah. Oh, no, in the coming turn, the Salvagers is going to look good. It can rebuy that Lotus Petal at the cost of 1 net mana to get more prowess triggers to increase that clock.
Absolutely. Yeah, he was a little bit short on Metalcraft, so he couldn't get out the Salvagers there. Okay, so Therapy is interesting. He doesn't know his opponent's hand, and now that Gitaxian Probe is banned, that's definitely a different part of the game. So do we play out this Nomad into the Ballista? I mean, if if we don't get a combo pretty quickly and are able to deal with this ballista, I mean, it's just going to sort of run away with the game with the protection it provides.
Yeah, the ballista is definitely going to be a big thorn in trying to assemble this combo, because even if Javier comes with the illusionist first before the nomad, with no access to either Vol, there's no easy way to get through the walking ballista other than outright removing it.
Any spell there is pretty decent, even though it's just a pedal. Get some interesting things going with the salvager now on the next turn. All right, so this is pretty aggressive. Did we see if he boarded in the batter skull for Stoneforge? I doubt he did, but I'm not sure that if he did that.
Oh, I guess we're going to find out right now. I think we're not going to get a look at the whole deck, but
let's see what he grabs with this.
Still has the batter skull.
Okay.
And it's interesting that it was good play by Javier to save the nomad, because now this walking ballista actually has to get 3 counters on it to remove the nomads.
Yeah, and not so common interaction of that card, but the interaction it was made for.
The interaction it was made for, which haven't seen in a while, but that card's tough to kill with regular damage.
Absolutely. So we draw the land. Yeah, this is where we see some interesting things from Salvager, just providing some awesome late game value with the prowess triggers.
One interesting thing to note with this nomads in combat is that if the nomads and the Stoneforge both get into combat together, the nomads will survive combat completely by redirecting all the damage to the Stoneforge. So the Stoneforge will take the hit. Similar to like a banding style effect.
Very cool. This is the new legacy we live in, where banding comes up in conversation now.
Yeah, so it looks like this whole turn we'll see if Caleb looks to put a second counter on this ballista to try and pressure his nomads after combat, because there's a good chance that a block will have to be made. Now, going all in on the prowess. And might actually finish it off with a bobble on the tail end and try and get a cantrip.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, this is pretty cool to see. It looks like Caleb in the driver's seat. Yeah. So yeah, these are some huge monks now. So even getting a little bit of value off of the mentor earlier is really helping with his clock. I mean, these things are massive. Yeah, we got the bobble as the last card, like you said.
Yeah, the mentor really adds a lot to this deck in the form of a threat that doesn't necessarily have to use. Well, doesn't really use the. I mean, in this case, Caleb's using his graveyard to an effect for the prowess, but as a threat that doesn't necessarily need the graveyard. Well, doesn't really need the graveyard at all. Just dumping out a couple monks and top deck a couple baubles and keep the cantrips going. A reasonable way to win a game of Legacy.
I realized that my commentary was lagged a little bit for the last minute or so. If that was obvious, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they said that you sounded far away.
All right, let's see.
All right, so this is the combat step that I was telling you about. We're going to see all the redirect, about probably 8 redirections to the Stoneforge stacked here. Get 2 blocks in, lose 1 creature. We'll only end up taking 2 damage this turn. It's likely that this Walking Ballista might try and clear up that Nomads after combat step.
Yeah, the Ballista is great here just to provide the protection insurance for the combo. Yeah.
It's going to be tough because Caleb can present this same clock on the very next turn.
Absolutely.
That's salvagers.
I'm not sure what the outs are here. So there are some removal spells, correct? So you could get rid of the salvagers, and it doesn't look like he's got it.
We could see a Caverns on Assassin to get this red cap down and get that Ballista off the board.
We got Goblin, not quite as exciting.
I didn't see that line.
All right, so yeah, we'll take care of the Nomad.
Oh, doing it in response to the red cap. That had to be the play to be made. So this clock is actually decreased significantly here because Javier will be able to get 2 blocks in with this red cap on that monk. Might be able to get to Batterskull. This game could go a lot longer than it looks.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
so there's sort of a decision to be made here with this mentor and.
Well, the Tormod's Crypt's a good draw too. It'll be able to turn that Mox back on, and then also replaces the Walking Ballista and deterrence against the combo.
So he will be able to block the monk, ping the other one.
The new one, yes.
If that's the attack that he decides to get in here. Yeah, it looks like this Batterskull might actually be able to make an appearance this game.
Yeah, this is probably the most reasonable attack.
Save the monk.
Yeah, you'll lose 1 monk here, but you'll get the persist counter on the red cap.
Yeah.
And then with any spell, well, next turn can actually get multiple spells back with the salvagers. It's still around. And he could probably actually, this is a good attack here because the salvagers, if Javier does block the salvagers with the red cap, with the persist trigger on the stack, that Tormod's Crypt is threatening removing the red cap.
Just clear it out.
And depending on Javier's configuration post board, that could actually interfere with him comboing at all this game.
Looks like it is going to die. So let's see if we see the Tormod's Crypt in response to the.
You see him rethinking it.
Thinking about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good to play that Tormod's Crypt pre-combat there.
Right.
Ooh. I would say Illusionist is a little late, but I mean, really, Caleb's had this combo in check since the Walking Ballista came into play. So this is a Batterskull game. Oh well, this should be it. This should be infinite. See, with the Lion's Eye Diamond and the Auriok Salvagers, you can sack it for the 3 white, then use 2 of the white to get back the Lion's Eye Diamond and replay it, netting 1 mana every time without losing anything because you're basically using your graveyard as an extension of your hand. So this is going to make as many monks and as many prowess triggers as Caleb wants. This is basically the Bomberman combo in action right here.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And so right now we have 3 infinitely large attackers and also a Walking Ballista that can infinitely ping. So a lot of options here.
Yeah, that's nice. You can win even without the combat step with the Walking Ballista.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, we get to see game 3. That's pretty exciting.
Nice. Yeah, these decks are sweet.
I wonder if Caleb is interested at all in the swords on the draw, like if he has any sort of different sort of chalice configuration on the draw, but looks like he may just be sticking with it.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think that the Walking Ballista, like we said, that's got to be his biggest point of interaction. I can see the swords possibly on the draw, but I think that he's definitely looking to get a chalice on turn 1. Oh, nope, you're right. Look, good call, Wilson. Swapping it up.
Yeah, he still has the 2 and 2, so this will open up to sort of see exactly what he wants to do here. I think he might be thinking about some of these other slower removal spells. Chalice is one of those cards that certainly quite a coin flip in a matchup like this when you're playing against Ether Vial. As far as how great it is.
And it looks like Javier's sticking with full combo and maxing out on the Force Will this time. I think Javier only had 3 in on the last game on the draw.
Sure.
I think maybe after seeing the Tomas crypt and the extra interaction, it might be worth having the extra.
Let's see, does Javier have 3 different types of swords to plowshares? Like 3 different borders? I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Ooh, so not a great opening hand for Javier. I mean, he does have the Nomad and a Ponder. The Shuko and the Nomad are essentially the same type of effect for wanting to combo off.
Right. 2 pieces of the same side of the combo. Being on the play is huge here against this Chalice hand.
Yeah, they both decide to keep their hands. So Caleb's in a pretty solid spot now, especially with the Tormod's crypt draw, because he has access to potentially Chalice and Tormod's crypt or Containment Priest, and there's just a lot of different things that he can do here.
Yeah, that was a huge draw.
So yeah, we go for the Chalice and a 1, which is still really strong on the draw against Javier's hand with the Ponder and sort of a redundant spell. Shuko doesn't really matter as much, but hitting that Ponder is definitely relevant. So the Tormod's crypt is extremely significant to be in play over there.
Looks like we're going to find shaping up to be a 1-mana cantrip versus Chalice game.
Yep.
So let's get the Nomads fighting.
We have Ballista.
Wow.
So right now, it's still mana is still the problem on Caleb's side, but this is still fantastic. Oh, that's brutal.
Now, Drew the Illusionist here. Now, let's see how Javier plays through this Tormod's crypt.
Is there a sideboard? Let's see. Going back to the sideboard, is there a card that can actually blow up the crypt? Doesn't matter because that is a really big blowout right there.
That is a really big blowout right there. I mean, it's a tough one. You get in the habit of swinging with that Nomad, you know.
Yeah, it's hard because
it feels good.
Absolutely, and it's like these are rogue decks. You don't know your opponent's list. He's playing this flash 2/2 blocker.
Yeah. I'll check this out.
Brutal.
So I think Javier is probably looking to catch a Stoneforge here.
Yeah.
Try and get that plan going.
Totally agree with that.
I mean, that's one cool thing about both of these combo decks, like the Mentor and Caleb's deck, and then also having the Stoneforge package in the Breakfast deck, is that whenever you have this combo, so usually opponents will overboard for it or keep hands that are very reactive to it, and then you can maybe circumvent all the hate by just coming sideways on them.
Yep.
So I like the attack. If that's going to be your plan against a Tormod's crypt.
Yeah, I think you probably had a reason for that LED. I'm just sort of curious. I guess it's he just sort of played out the LED there.
Huh. Well, it's possible that
been
it's
all
possible,
1-drops top decks.
I know if there was some way to maybe remove the Chalice of the Void, that Cabal Therapy could be a consideration. It could just be habit against Cabal Therapy.
Yeah. So we did get a mana source, but it's one of these one-shot guys. So we'll see what Caleb wants to do with that pedal here.
Probably just save it to try and find a soul land, get that Mentor, and get the most out of that Mentor.
Yep.
Ooh, now we see a Dread Return. That could actually be hardcast for that Encore. Another thing to note is if Javier draws his own Encore, can actually Caverns, naming Core, Nomad, or Soldier to get it through on that Chalice.
Yeah. Still going to have to deal with this Crypt and the priest. Yeah, this is just brutal. I mean, I'm
Chalice. It's tough.
Yeah, we got to basically got to be in a batter school situation.
Batter school situation is probably the best place at this point. The also Caleb, when Caleb finds some more mana, got him twice with the Containment Priest. But when Caleb finds some mana and gets the Walking Ballista, that's just a whole another issue. I think this just might be too much to overcome. I'd love to see it happen though. All right, we got Javier with a respectable chalice check there. Always have to get your chalice check in.
All right.
Just to make sure your opponent's awake, you know? Respectable.
Yeah, that's a little more effective than paper magic, but hey, still respect it here.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so are we looking at the sideboard? That's actually helpful for us. I think we saw that the detention sphere was still in the sideboard, which is relevant.
Yeah, that would be one way to get through these containment priests. But then, oh, another LED.
That's still the slow bleeding.
Yeah, still, it's looking like another 2-turn clock that he has to try and pull through this.
Yeah, this has been really sweet to see these two decks in action. I mean, Caleb did really well with this deck last year, I think, on Legacy Premier League, and looks like he's going to take it again to the next stage. Okay, so this interaction is coming up that you talked about, which is the cavern allowing the nomad to get in through a chalice. Cute, maybe not enough.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, that goes back to what you were saying about Chalice and its effectiveness against decks with either vial. Because generally decks with either vial will also run Cavern alongside of it, so it does question the overall effectiveness. But in this match, it looked great. A lot of spells were drawn. They all cost 1 mana.
Yeah, wow. So that was really cool. I mean, that was cool to see that matchup. I thought that maybe Cephalid Breakfast had a little bit of an edge, but there's 2 combo decks with 2 different angles of attack. I think we saw that Caleb's secondary angle of attack that was not his combo was actually much better than Javier's secondary angle of attack, which is also to be expected, and that's sort of what won the game. So he basically had these hate bears that beat in for the win that also stopped Javier from doing what he needed to do.
Yeah, also both combos being pretty linear and make use of the full amount of their graveyard. Caleb really getting the leg up by having hard graveyard removal and Tormod's Crypt and Containment Priest.
Absolutely. So I'll take a second too to give a shout out to my own tool, since it's a sponsor of the stream. Hope you guys have enjoyed clicking and looking at the deck lists for the event on the buttons on the side of your screen. It should be available on mobile for this event. It's called the Cardboard.live deck list extension. So given the nature of some of these decks, I'm hoping that it was pretty useful to search through and see the contents of the players' decks to better understand what was happening. But yeah, so this was overall really cool experience. I got sort of obliterated, which was unfortunate. But the cool thing about this format is I think we all get to play in the next stage. It just gives me some more winning that I have to do. So Jody, I think you're next week, right?
Ooh, I'm ready. Next week, I'll be here.
Excited to see what you bring to the table.
I mean, I saw a lot of creatures out there. Wouldn't be bad to get a Tabernacle on that board, huh?
There you go. We do know you like that card. Alrighty, well, thank you all. I think we're going to probably hand it back over to Julian, maybe? I'm not even sure who's coming on next, but I think that all I know is I think we duck out and we let these guys take back over. So yeah. Oh, there's nobody next. Okay, so
we got a mob of the show here.
We close it out. Well, this was fun, Jody. We appreciate it. I think we're back here next Wednesday at 5 p.m. as well. And this will be the second half, I guess, the third quarter of the group stage, in which Jody is playing. So
yeah, thanks for having me. And if y'all enjoy the show, make sure y'all follow the stream. Tune in next week, same time. Was it 5 p.m. Eastern?
That's right.
And follow on Twitter, Legacy Premier League #. And thanks for having me. I'll catch y'all next week.
All right. Peace out, people.
Card Hoarder has been serving the community since 2005, and it's no wonder why they're one of the largest Magic Online secondary market stores. Ordering has never been easier or faster with the arrival of automatic order delivery. Card Hoarder has been serving the community since 2005, and it's no wonder why they're one of the largest Magic Online secondary market stores. Ordering has never been easier or faster with the arrival of automatic order delivery. They carry a fantastic stock of eternal staples, as well as tools to manage your collection, podcasts, articles, and give back to the community with weekly events and sponsorships that make broadcasts like this possible. Visit Cardboard.com today and see what they have to offer. You can also find them in the classifieds by searching #cardhoarder.